Hashtag no music, no intro. We are here. I have survived an earthquake today. There's downpouring rain, and for whatever reason, there were Saints preseason football in Los Angeles. Saints Block Party podcast coming at you, recapping the game. Oh, it's so funny because football and preseason and the Saints were the last thing on my mind today. But
Right.
in a weird way, as football and sports often does, kind of being able to not think about the terrible shit that's happening outside makes it a little easier to be palpable sometimes. But we got a preseason game to talk about. The Saints get their second win of the preseason, 2-0 in the preseason, and maybe it means nothing at the end of the day, but it is always just good for a team to just win. It may does it carry over to the regular season? I don't know, but it's better than losing.
Right.
I know that you missed some of the early parts of the game, so
first quarter for sure.
So Jameis started the entire first half. Then Jake Henry came in the second half. Very little starters played at all. There was Delonte, there was the Debo. In terms of and then Trevor Penny was at left tackle. But starters wise, that's pretty much it. Colin Saunders, I would probably consider a star at this point. He did get some playing time. But let's start with the positives, right? Payton Turner.
Ooh.
Payton Turner, bro. I don't know if it's, obviously a lot of it just goes into him just coming in potentially with a different mentality, bro. But these past two preseason games against the Chiefs, against the Chargers, I mean, he making plays out there, bro. He go to the sideline, that smile ain't there, bro. It's just I know we jokingly say bullying works, bro. I don't know how much credit we could take from it, but he makes a good, great play in the game. And if you watch those series of snaps, as it was pointed out in our live stream, he was going against offensive linemen, played with power on 3 separate snaps consecutively. Boom. 4th snap comes with speed, beats them inside, causes a sack, forced fumble. Brian Preseason recovers it. That's what we talked about it, right? Show me something, right? We said this before the preseason game against the Chiefs, bro. He has shown us something in each game, which at this point is a plus and is a positive trend in his career.
Absolutely. And we need it, bro. We were counting on him, and he needs it. As a professional player that, has a chance to be around in this league, if he shows something, this is your time, buddy. They are giving you every opportunity to do it. We got a lot of guys on the roster can't even get that opportunity. He has it right in front of him. All he has to do is show up, show out, do whatever you need to do in the off season to get yourself, I don't know whether that's physical, mental, whatever. Get yourself to the point. One quick note, if you're watching this, click subscribe, thank you. Appreciate it.
On YouTube.
Now. Do it right now.
If you're listening, if you're watching one of our TikToks and then you go to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is, like it on there, follow our podcast so that each week you get each time we put out an episode, it's download it straight to your phone. It helps us out a lot. A big takeaway I have from this game is there has been flashes shown from pretty much across the board in the Saints draft selections this season. Now we'll get into Foskey later. I will say that he did have a better game. He had some better snaps against the Chargers than he did against the Chiefs. We'll get into the concerns with him, but I'm staying right now with the positives. Brian Preseason, just every week you just see something. Those little flashes that you talked about before the preseason game against the Chiefs. Each week you see it with him as a player. shout out to hashtag White Wealth for tweeting this. And it's funny he tweeted it because it was the first thing I thought about too. On that Payton Turner strip sack, Brees didn't try to, like, we've, as Saints fans, I feel like we've seen this a lot where, like, defensive linemen will try to fucking pick it up and just fumble with it. Yeah. And then he just fell in that bitch, bro. Just fell. That's it. That's it. Oh. Didn't try to scoop and score.
Right.
None of that. Like,
for him to stay alive, coming around on a stunt, just, I love it. I love it. And
so, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I love to see, because you can tell he's building like a puzzle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's putting it all together week by week, game by game. He's starting to figure it out more. You know what I'm saying? And he's so active, plays with a nice motor, bro. Like, to me, just those things that you see from him tells me he's going to be a productive player. How good he could be, we'll see. But it just tells me he's going to be productive just the way he plays,
Yes, and the interior needs it. I saw some good flashes from Colin Sanders as well.
Absolutely.
Kendre Miller, we kind of been like really watching and eyeing him because he came in with this chip, talking a lot of noise.
Yeah,
he ran a great wheel route, and Jameis led him a little too far, but he put his body on the line and made an amazing catch. Next play, he follows it up with a good ass touchdown, just a hard run, get in the end zone. Really good to see that from him after kind of like having some not the greatest snaps against the Chiefs. Then he gets injured against the Chiefs. For him to respond in this game and make those plays, I'm like, that I was good to see it because we're gonna need it as fans of the Saints. It's gonna be needed those first 3 weeks of the season when AK's not playing.
Absolutely, man. And just like you said, the response. It's like, okay, he had I said disastrous game last week. Maybe it's a little hyperbole, but it just went as bad, not as bad as you could possibly have it, but it was a bad game.
It was.
And for him to respond, showing his value in the pass game, which
versatility,
is huge.
Man. Yes.
Huge for him. Huge. For him to show that, I saw the highlight. Beautiful, beautiful play. And then right after that, to follow up with a hard-nosed red zone touchdown. Just perfect, man. I was looking at his stats. He only averaged like 2.8 yards per carry on 10 carries. I didn't see all his carries, look, we'll see, with these mishmash offensive lines and stuff like that. We'll see what he can do. But I've seen these little sparks here and there that tells me, like, okay, we might have something here. But it's going to take growth. And I'm so happy it wasn't like a major injury, because when he went out last week, I was like, man, we don't need it. He doesn't need to miss time this training camp, Yeah, so that was good to see, man. That's definitely a positive.
A.T. Perry, he didn't catch a lot of balls, but I think that was more indicative of Jameis's play. Almost, if you just go back and this is not my game. This is not what I do. But if you go back and just closely study A.T. Perry snaps, the amount of times that he got open against the defense, like he was open on routes, I would say probably 80-85% of his time playing against the game. He had some awful balls thrown to him by Jameis. Like, we'll get to Jameis. Like, Jameis had just atrocious fucking game. But he, to me, has shown enough. I believe he's firmly wide receiver 4. Like, I think he's like cemented himself in that position of being wide receiver 4.
I believe that too, bro. Like, unless the coaches have some kind of metric or benchmark they want him to hit,
right?
But like for me, I see pretty much everything I need to see. He's steadily built from this OTAs, mini camps, constantly building and building. He looks so comfortable out there. He looks like a NFL wide receiver. I just love watching him run those. I mean, you just see it, bro. Big. Oh man.
And like, this is like an underrated thing, right? But I don't want to like not mention it because it's very important. The Saints' offense is hard, bro. Like, it is a hard offense.
Thank you for pointing it out. Thank you for pointing it out.
So
Because
to
I
be a
think,
rookie,
yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I can't remember the player that was saying it.
It was if it was today, it was Shaq Davis. The other.
No, it was something. It was a couple of days ago, or a week ago. But somebody was talking about like this offense is hard, man. Like it is a very
Hard,
complex offense. So for him to come in and pick it up the way he's picking it up, I think that just speaks a lot.
Volumes. Like we have not seen or heard from Traquan since that injury, bro. Like, I don't even has anyone seen him? Like, does he exist at this point, bro? I don't know.
Man.
So if you go about like talking about like depth, wide receiver, you have Chris Olave, you have Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed, still injured, A.T. Perry, and then like that fifth wide receiver is interesting. Traquan's going Traquan, so is he in the mix? I don't know. I maybe has Bowden Jr. showed enough in the return game where maybe he will just kind of be like that specialist. The way I see it is if you're as an organization or serious about making Shaheed a full-time go at wide receiver, with the amount of injuries and how often he gets dinged up as it is, like I know how explosive he is on kickoffs. I know how explosive he is on punt returns. But if he's going to be that piece in the offense full term, he shouldn't be on returns. Like he just should.
Honestly, that's what I feel the same way.
84 has shown. Like I'm not saying he's like the greatest returner, but he's a young player. He's bounced around from a lot of teams. He was like a high second round pick for the Raiders, and it's weird to say, but sometimes it's just as players in the league, especially young players, like it's hard to find your niche. Like the NFL is hard, man. The NFL is hard. So like maybe this, Bowden's, this is his opportunity to be like, yeah, like I know what I can do. I can return. You can put him in the offense. Just sprinkle him in. Like I don't know like that. But I'm just saying that wide receiver 5 spot is very interesting of how it may play out.
Absolutely, and we're going to have to do a 53 prediction at some point, man.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we got to do that shit soon.
It's some numbers when you look at them, like how many safeties do they carry? How many running backs do they carry? How many wide receivers do they carry? It's going to be interesting, bro. I
know AK doesn't count against the roster for the first 3 weeks, but I said this in the live stream. You cannot cut Merriweather. Can't do it, man.
He's shown too much.
He's shown too much. He reminds me like whatever Sean Payton wanted Travis Cadet to be, bruh.
Exactly.
Merriweather's that player.
But he could actually run. Like he could actually run the ball.
And he like does a lot of good things like in the pass game too. It's not like he's not running routes, but check down, just make like being open on like short, like when the pocket's breaking, like he's whatever Tony Jones Jr., Travis Cadet, like Merriweather.
Well, that's the thing. Like he has had a better preseason than Tony Jones Jr. Did last 2 years ago or whatever.
Yes.
And to me, I'm like, man, if Tony Jones Jr. can make the squad off the preseason he had, like Merriweather definitely should make it.
He has to be a shoo-in, especially with AK missing those first 3 games and he's not kind of against the roster. He has to be a shoo-in to make the team. No offense to Darrell Williams, but like he looked not great at all.
Wow.
But you brought up that point against the positions and where it's going to be difficult in terms of like cuts.
Mm-hmm.
The linebacker position is interesting, Ryan. I wouldn't have said that before this game. And I know you missed the first quarter, but if you were to go back and just watch
I know where you're going.
Snaps when Jalen Smith was on the field, bro.
I saw a few clips, man. I was like,
that's that he moves different. Like I know, like he was hurt and injured, and I get it, but how he looked in Green Bay and how he looked in the Giants, bro. Like I don't know if like just having some time away from the game and just letting his body heal, like may have invigorated him, but he was making some plays out there. Like that play where he forced the fourth down when he was like in coverage on, I don't know who it was, but he was playing coverage on somebody for the Chargers. Textbook, bro.
Chef kiss, huh? I saw that play. I was like, oh, okay. And that's what, 2 weeks with the Saints?
2 weeks.
Barely?
So this, I'm going to list all the linebackers to you. Okay. Mario Davis, Pete Warner, Jalen Smith, Nephi Sewell, DeMarco Jackson, Zach Bond. 6.
Ryan Conley.
Oh, I wasn't counting it. I'm thinking like the 6 that actually have a chance to make the no, unless Conley's going to make the team as a special team. I'm sorry, but that's 6. So so we know DeMario and Pete Warner are locks. To me, and it sounds foolish, and I don't know if the team could actually do this just because you got to keep players at other positions. I would cut Zach Bond, or maybe you see if you could trade him for whatever. I would carry 5. I'd carry 5. I would. I don't think they're going to carry 5. I just don't see it.
I wonder if Jaylon plays special teams. Because you know Zach Bond does. That's all he does, honestly. Man.
That's going to be... If you just watch the snaps he played against the Chargers, and we'll see what happens against the Texans. But if he has similar flashes against the Texans to Jalen Smith, you know what his pedigree is. He's going to be a top 5 pick. Someone said in the. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying he's a veteran player.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Someone said in the live stream the Saints have had this affinity recently of like picking up like former athletic linebackers and like it working out for a little bit. We had Manti Te'o, although Manti was pretty athletic back in the day. You had Quan Alexander. Quan's always been a great athlete. Like the Jalen Smith thing was kind of just like whatever. But like them snaps, Ryan, you know me. Like I like watching linebackers is something, at least NFL linebackers, college linebackers, I've gotten that shit way too wrong. So don't hold me accountable for that. But there was something there, bro. Like I was like, oh shit, like he was just moving at a different speed.
And to me, you're not asking him to come in to be a starter day one. But
someone said he could play if he could just come in and just be Quan Alexander, like be this year's version of Quan Alexander on the team. I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't think that's too much to ask, man. You bring a smart veteran. Yes, his body has betrayed him over the years, but you got a guy that did it at the highest level, man. You got a huge contract a couple years ago. Athletic. So let's just see what we got there. I don't see a problem with having that on their team. You know what I'm saying? You can do a lot worse as like Jalen Smith as like a backup. You know what I'm saying?
Especially with how Pete Warner's been consistently injured. Like
exactly.
Like I don't know if it's fair, but I feel if some version of Jalen of this can fill in if Pete gets injured or DeMario gets injured, I feel like that's a little more comfortable than saying like a DeMarco Jackson, right? Like because that's a second-year player, and DeMarco had some snaps against the Chargers. The practice I went to on Thursday, where it's like, oh, like you see athleticism, but I'm just saying in terms of just veteran knowledge, things like that. Trevor Penning, he was out there. He had a decent game overall, but the thing with him, I think it's going to be a learning thing, and that's why anytime there's an available game, he's gonna play because he needs the snaps, man. Someone said in our live stream, it was such a great, smart thing. Is like this is basically his rookie season. Like he played very little last year, so he needs the snaps. Quickness gives him fits.
Yes, we knew that was going to be an issue.
Quickness gives him fits. So want to play against the Chargers. I think it was like their second round pick from USC. Like just beat him with quickness. Yeah. And just was boom. Tackle for loss. Like he didn't even get out his snap, bro. Like it was
like, whoa, what just happened?
Whoa. So part of me is a little, and I don't don't know what it was. The Texans were saying it was because of injuries, and they had a lot of banged up guys that they, D'Amico Ryan and DA talked earlier. I think it was earlier today. Decided they were going to cancel the joint practices against the Texans. But I kind of am annoyed that happened, only from the standpoint of like Trevor Penning going against Will Anderson in joint practices is honestly one of the best things that could have happened to him this offseason.
Yeah.
Because there is not anyone on the Saints, not really anyone on the Chargers. Like, because the way that Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack win, like Will Anderson is just speed, bruh. Just speed.
Yeah. But on the flip side, since they aren't practicing against the Texans this week, you might see the starters in the third preseason game.
I think you will, man. This is based on nothing that I know, but I think you will.
So that makes sense. Yeah,
because Derek Carr had a great drive, with first team offense, but it wouldn't shock me that come next Sunday, shit, I don't know, like maybe they'll go a quarter, maybe a little more.
Why not, bro? Football about to start. Like it's time to all this. It's time to put the rubber to the road and really go out there and show what you got. You know what I'm saying? And put that rehearsal out there to see, like, do we got this? Like, can we? Like, is this real or isn't it? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would love for them to even scheme it up a little bit instead of just running like a base level. Just throw some scheme in there. You know what I'm saying? And they did a little bit there in the Chiefs game. I would like to see them go out there and really go out there like it's week one and the game is on the line.
Right.
And play for like a good quarter, half a quarter, something like that. But we'll see. Like you said, bro, like Penning, I saw that play and I was just like, this is what I was like when we drafted him. I was like, that's what's going to be his Achilles heel.
Yep.
Those quicker, athletic players like that could just, and it's just going to take time to learn that stuff. Like, trust me, like big athletic. He's not the first big, huge athletic left tackle that got smoked. You know what I'm saying? He's not the first.
No, he won't be the last either.
Won't be the last. He's just going to be one of those things where you have to learn it through film study, prepare for your opponent, knowing how your opponent wins and all those things. Those are the things that'll take time. I see, I was checking Twitter. I think one of the PFF guys tweeted that clip and, Penning was getting smoked about it. I looked at it. I'm just like, it's great learning. Like, coach is going to play that. They're going to play that snap, in the meeting tomorrow or whatever, and say, hey, this is what you need to do. And he'll learn from that. From what I've seen from Penning, he learns from his mistakes. You know what I'm saying?
He does.
So
absolutely,
that to me tells me a ton. He's like, because I remember last year, his first preseason game was rough. I was like, woo.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Then he followed up week 2 or week 3. And it was like, damn, is Penning ready to start? Like, that's how quickly he turned it around. So that just tells me everything that he can at least learn from his mistakes and keep it progressing. How good he will be, we shall see. But
who knows?
He's healthy, not going well right now, and playing, so it's all good. You still on positives?
A little. Yeah. Let me try and think.
Jake Haener.
All right. Okay. Let me be careful what I'm about to say. He is not part of any quarterback equation this season. Like he's not in the equation whatsoever. That said, I don't know, and this is not saying that he should be quarterback 2 or anything like that, but I don't know how you look at the film and the cut-ups from this game against the Chargers. And I know he was like, Twitter was, how Saints Twitter is at times, man. He was getting like crucified against how he played against the Chiefs. And if you just really watch that game,
to me.
It was completely unjustified. I say if you go back and like I even said, if you're criticizing Jake Haener against how he played against the Chiefs, you don't know football. For him to come in week 2 against the Chargers, and he was dealing, Ryan. Dealing. He got this, like, the level of how many opportunities he should have had to actually have touchdowns or big plays, and tight end Lucas Kroll dropping passes and just everything. It was just unreal, bro. Lucas Kroll obviously is not. He might get cut tomorrow. He had an awful game, like terrible fucking game.
Disappointing, very disappointing.
Really, game. He did, because I remember I was I watched a lot of Kenny Pickett last year when I was watching Pitt, and Lucas Kroll, jumped out a lot, and the Saints signed him as an undrafted free agent. So he just has this moxie. The ball comes out quick, and the biggest thing about him is he is, more often than not, he's very accurate. And not only is he very accurate, he puts it either on time or in a place where the offensive weapon can make moves and catch yards after catch very quickly. It's not like they're waiting for the ball and then they have to turn. Like, no, that ball is on them and they can run after they catch. This is a 4th round pick, bro. Like, it's a 4th round pick. Like, that is impressive as hell, man.
It is, and the things you just described are like the keys to quarterbacking. You know what I'm saying? To being successful as a quarterback. It's not cannon arm or can you run real fast and stuff like that. Is put the ball where it's supposed to be, get the ball out, have spatial awareness or whatever it is to put the ball, understand where the receiver is going and put the ball where they are trying to head to. That's a hard thing to do, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? But they do it. And he does that. He does that, man. And I'm not saying he's going to be this or that, but I'm just saying you see all the little signs of like, okay, this guy can be a productive quarterback.
He's at least a good backup quarterback.
Exactly.
And as a 4th round pick, like, that's huge. And I'm not even talking beyond backup.
Right.
But if he had to, like, maybe not even this season, because there's no chance it happens this season. But if he had to start a game, let's say next year, if he just continues on this progression, like something happens, you wouldn't feel like, oh shit, we have no shot. Like, there's no chance, right? I'm going to make the same point that I made about A.T. Perry, but even to a higher degree, Saints offense is hard, bro. Like, especially for quarterbacks. Like,
I mean, you remember like Garrett Grayson and all, they were struggling to learn this damn offense, bro.
It's hard, man. It's hard. So for him, like, I'm not saying that he's come in and mastered it or anything like that, but just for him to be able to look like he has in a game and a half or two games in the preseason, and it's impressive.
And we've heard that since the beginning. He's come in, he has command. Everything I've heard is he looks light years ahead of where Ian Book was, where Garrett Grayson was, where Ryan Griffin was. All these guys they've tried to bring in and develop over the years. He's come in and looked far beyond what they were. And you can see it on the field. Like, it just looks like, okay, like I'm watching a guy who's been in the league like 2-3 years.
Right.
That knows what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's really all you can ask for a backup. And, beyond that, who knows? He could probably be more than that. It's going to be up to him.
He took a nasty hit. And kind of to see, like, right, like after the play, the next play, he's in the huddle, and like you could tell. Like, you know what it reminded me of?
Yes.
You know what it reminded me of a little bit? Obviously, this was a completely different circumstance. But you remember that Saints-Texans game in Houston, bro?
Don't forget.
And they put a little too much heat on Drew Brees on a borderline, like, dirty hit. Right.
Oh yeah.
And Drew never, like, he got fired up a little bit or whatever, but like Drew didn't, like, you had like the Miami game, but there are very few games that Drew like got like you like fucked up with Drew. He got up, went to the fucking defenders. It was a secondary play. I can't remember who the fuck it was.
I can't remember what the play to Alabama.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Joseph. No, it wasn't Joseph.
No.
I can't remember who it was.
I can't remember.
Kareem, no, but yes, someone's gonna fucking get in our mentions and tell us who it was. But I know we're thinking of the same player, but
it's fucking driving me, dog.
I know, but he gets in his face, starts talking a little shit, and from that hit forward, Ryan, he lit that team up.
I'm gonna light your ass up, boy.
Lit him up, bro. Him and Jimmy just Bro, how we got in this podcast? I haven't even talked about the Jimmy thing once.
Oh shit!
Fucking rewind this. It's been a long weekend. Report comes out. At this point, I think I had just landed in Salt Lake City. I did. I just landed in Salt Lake City. Boom. Twitter. TMZ. Jimmy Graham arrested, blah, blah. I read it. First thing I think is, and I quote tweeted, I'm just like, man, what? Like, it's the Ryan tweet, bro. Like, there's always something with the same.
Always some shit, bro.
That's my team. That's my team now. And, I was trying to figure out if there was like legitimacy to it. TMZ's in bed with law enforcement all the time. So it's like, are we just getting what law enforcement wants to be put out, which typically is what TMZ does? And, there's speculation and Saints Twitter is going crazy and our Discord, like, we just like, man, like it's not impossible for this to happen, but that's not Jimmy, bro. Like, that's never been
like partying.
No, it didn't make sense. The first thing I thought about is, they're in California, right? The game was out here. They had the joint practices, and I've lived out here almost 15 plus years, and I'm like, man, did Jimmy like smoke some weed, eat an edible, and something was in that shit? Because, bro, if you don't, and keep in mind, I've never touched a drug in my life, but if you, especially in California and in Los Angeles, if you get some weed or some drugs from someone that you don't know, that you don't trust, there's no telling what the fuck.
It's everywhere out there, bro. Everywhere.
So that was my first, like, it would kind of make sense. And then, like, not long after it comes, the Saints puts out a press release statement that he's had a seizure. And it's like, first of all, they were in Orange County. And if you live in Southern California, Orange County is probably like the one of, the Antelope Valley is pretty bad too, but Orange County is super fucking conservative. You want to talk about racism? It's a different type of like racism from the South, though. It's like kind of like the Get Out racism, which is even worse and more egregious to me. But that's another conversation.
They smile at you like this, huh?
Mm-hmm. You already know, bro. My favorite used to be one of my favorite memes with the little boy with the school photo boy. Oh, niggers!
Bye, darky. Excuse me. Move, darky.
Right? So that, like, I was like, this man is having a seizure. And I'm a social worker, right? There are certain things we get taught in academy when we have to deal with shit with our clients, kids, whatever, that we gotta at least somewhat be able to like tell the differences, like when someone's under the influence compared to like when they're seizing. It's something that's talked about. So you tell me like law enforcement couldn't figure out this man was having a seizure, and like but again, he's a tall, biracial dude who appeared like he was resisting. So it was like, oh, he absolutely has to be under the influence. I guess, and DA said that he's, he should be fine. It's more of just like, damn, like we just had this great reunion, right? Like this coming full circle. Jimmy's back. He had been looking good in training camp, looking kind of like he's been kind of washed the last couple of years, honestly, just kind of been like a journeyman and more of a name, but he was probably having like a strong ass training camp. Right, and so I'm hoping that he's okay. I'm hoping that whatever it is, it's something that isn't serious. And who knows, man? It's football. It could be a plethora of things, but it was just such a like just out of the blue thing. But it also felt like the most Saints thing that could happen too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope he gets a CT scan, MRI,
all of it,
man. It could be aneurysm, a mass or a tumor in the brain, all kind of stuff, man. That's scary. When he said that, I was like, man, that's scary. It's scary because of what he's going through. Scary because police could have shot him or something, man. Like if he's going through an episode,
huge, bro.
He's a 6'7", 265-pound Hercules, and he's going through something. So who knows what he could have done to make the wrong move, and he could have got killed, bro.
Yeah,
So,
he could win, especially in Orange County. I can't. I know, you don't understand how bad Orange County is unless you it is bad, Ryan. So
for me, it went from a kind of a funny situation to real serious, and I just hope you're all right, man. I'm not worrying about the football portion of it.
No,
if
at
he
all.
has to retire and go live his life, I hope it just is all good. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see, bro. If he can't, if he does make the team, that's just scary to me, man. I hope they figure out whatever it is, and I hope it's nothing serious.
It feels like this is it's I don't know what it is about the tight end position, but feels like it's a different version, but also the kind of the same version of Foster Moreau. Where it's I want Jimmy to play, and that's just my inner fandom coming to, but as a person, I'm just I don't know. Again, if it's a life-threatening thing, bro, the Saints doctors got you covered, bro. They'll find out what it is. They'll find out what it is. Don't let it be a strain, a bruise, something pulled.
Hairline fraction. If you got a hairline fraction, boy, good luck.
Get a second opinion. But, trying to think what else from this game. Oh, something I wanted to talk about. Two things. They both involve special teams.
Ooh.
Blake Gilligan is not making this team,
Ryan. Yeah, man.
He is not. He is not making this team. Every punt that was punted today was done by Hetley, the Australian punter. Blake Gilligan did not have a good, at least, and I didn't focus a lot on it, but he didn't look great on Thursday in the joint practices with some of his punts. It was very telling to me that Blake Gilligan didn't have any punts against the Chargers this game. That's extremely telling.
Wow.
I do not think he's going to make. He is not making the team.
Wow.
He's not making the team, and it kind of it sucks, but it is kind of like the nature of the beast where he came in and he got that oh, he's hurt, so he gets IR. Thomas Morstead. It's kind of crazy how Thomas Morstead has kind of reinvented himself and is continuing punting and doing it at a high level. He had a bad season his last season with the Saints, and the season before you were calling it the season before. You were calling it the season before.
Started seeing chinks in the armor,
Well, can we say that? Oh, we're good. No, just kidding, Doc.
I'm gonna use my South excuse. I'm from the South, man. Slurs at lunch,
what old white people in the South love saying it.
From the South, man.
But you called it. He got cut. He's been with the Jet. He's reinvented himself. He is still punting at a very high level and what have you. And maybe same thing can happen to Blake Gilligan, but I think he's not going to make the team. I don't know how much we want to talk about that, but the bigger story I want to talk about is kicker battle.
Mm-hmm.
I would make Groupie the starter. I would do it, bro. I'd make Groupie the starter. I'm going to tell you why. Why is Adebo likely to be the starter outside of Marshawn?
Does all the little things right. Dependable.
Oh, consistent.
System.
Alante, as tantalizing as he is, and goddamn, bro, that man's a tantalizing player, bro.
Yeah.
Seeing it in person. Anyway, that's a different conversation. But with Alante comes he's a second-year player, and as great as he'll do the things that make you go oh shit, that was great. He might also do some things where he's giving up a big play because he loses focus or what have you, right? That's what they want, someone outside of Marshawn that they can depend on and that is consistent.
Right.
So with that same lens and same focus of how you're approaching a battle, why would you not approach the kicking battle the same way? Groupie has kind of shown I can't speak for training. Well, training camp, you have the reports. They've been keeping logs of the kicks, whatever. But Groupie has shown in training camp and preseason, about like 42, 43, 45 and in. Ain't got to worry about it, bro. At least right now. We know how quickly kickers can go into funks and lose confidence, what have you. It happens.
That's the thing.
Lutz has shown that his deep game and his leg, he even had a 50-yarder. He's good. You bring him in a little closer, it gets a little dicey. I don't know. To me, give me the guy who's been more consistent inwards, even if he doesn't have the strongest leg, rather than the kicker that did not have a great season last season. Even that kick he kicked against the Chiefs last week, it was close, bro. Like, ooh.
And that's the thing with Lutz. Lutz gonna hear you like, ooh, I don't know, baby. He had a rough season last year, and the year before that, he had it rough and got injured. So it's like,
for whatever reason, I don't. But I don't think they will cut Lutz. I don't think they'll go with Groupie. But it was very interesting to me that besides that 50-yarder, Groupie had kicked every kick.
Yeah.
Against the Chargers. Every one of them was made. What wasn't an issue? They bring in Lutz for the 50-yarder. I think it was like 51 yards. He hits it. He makes it. Having like a weapon at kicker where you like maybe you have to kick a 55-yard, whatever, and kind of having that confidence that your kicker is going to make it is a huge thing to have, especially for a defensive head coach.
Exactly.
But when you go in and those percentages go down and it misses, bro, then you change, then you flip, you fucking up field position, bro. I don't know, Ryan. It's an interesting battle, and I think it's a lot. I can't, man. I think they'll give it to Lutz in terms of like because he's the incumbent, because consistency. But I'm just saying, if you're just being true to, if you're giving a Debo that, if he's going to get the nod because of those reasons, you got to approach the kicker battle with the same lens. Like, you can't be inconsistent with it.
It's probably going to be less, bro. Because it's like the Democratic primary 2020. It's like, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and all kinds of Joe Cory Booker. It was deep, right? About 13, 14 people. But it's like, everybody's like, Joe, we know Joe. Joe's just Joe, bro. We know Joe Biden. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't all great on criminal convictions and all that stuff, but it's Joe. We know Joe. So we just went with Joe. I think that's how they're going to look at Lutz. I'm like, yeah. It's Lutz, though. It's Lutz. Lutz. Big nuts Lutz, man. Come on, So I think that's the way it goes. But I think it would be a bold move, bro. Like, just to rip the Band-Aid off and say, look, we're going young, new. Going to try this young, fresh leg kicker with, confidence, ready to go. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, if Groupie goes wherever, Dallas, wherever,
you already know. You know what's
10 years, a 10-year starter having great career, bro. And vice versa, if they let Lutz go, he gonna do the same shit.
Bro, I said it during the live stream, bro. I said it. One thing I do want to talk about. The Saints won the game. We saw some flashes. This, to me, is still a huge concern. They had 15 penalties, Ryan. Like almost 150 yards worth of penalties. I get it. Playing with, backup, second string, third string, fourth string. But to me, a good portion of that is still coaching. Because and someone kind of came in my mentions on Twitter and was just like, well, have you like really stopped to consider like maybe this is like maybe like the refs have something out? I am well aware of the treatment or lack thereof that the refs give the Saints during football games.
Refs trash, refs against the Saints. So many excuses.
I get it. But like, if you just watch the preseason game, the Debo penalty was ticky tack, right? All the other ones like were pretty fucking valid penalties, bro. Like, they're pretty valid,
especially pre-snap.
Yes, a lot of holes, false starts. There was some defensive holding, some pass interference. The big ones for me, though, were there were 2, maybe 3 offensive pass interference calls in this game. The reason why it stood out to me was 2 of them were because they were trying to do like a rub play, right? Where a receiver kind of like a pick play in basketball, makes sets a pick and sets the other wide receiver up. The play that fucking killed the Saints against the Giants against Odell and fucking Delvin Bro that whole fucking game, right? It stood out to me because the same player made the same mistake, which was Brian Edwards. What that tells me, and this is not an indictment on Cody Burns or whatever, but that tells me that the wide receivers are not being coached properly of how to properly do a rub route in practice. Exactly. Sean Payton ran a shit ton of rub routes. It's part of. I mean, it's a man beater, right? If you're a man, pick the man off, blah blah.
Yep.
You have to know how to do it where you're doing it, where you're running your route, and you're just kind of getting in the way of the defender so they can't get over you to get to the man that they're supposed to cover. There's a way to do that. You don't make it obvious. You gotta, but that has to be coached. Like, you have to be coached to know how to do that properly.
You have to practice it a lot.
You have to practice it. So, again, this is not an indictment on Cody Burns or anything like that. The thing that kind of keeps me at bay with this team, as talented, as depth-wise it is, aside from pass rush, because right now that's like a glaring concern outside of Cam Jordan. Like, I can already tell, and you and I can already tell, they're gonna have to manufacture some pass rush this season, bro. Because unless like Breesy just becomes prime fucking, I don't know, bro, like Chris Jones, where there's pressure coming from the interior, it's going to have to be manufactured. There's going to have to be some blitzes. That's a different conversation. The thing that really just keeps me at bay is I'm just like, as good as this team is, the talent, can it overcome some coaching deficiencies? This is not me saying DA can't coach this team to be in the playoffs or for them to make a run. But 15 penalties for like 150 plus yards in the preseason game, bro. Like, that is glaring. Like, that's a red.
You're losing the regular season.
Easy. The only reason they won this game, and someone pointed out in the live stream, was that they had the defense had 3 turnovers.
Right.
Which, you know,
that's good, but that's the only way to flip that. That's
right.
150.
You have to overcome that.
That's a turnover, is what you did with penalties. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a turnover and a half.
Right.
So. Look, like, people can say, well, you got to give DA the benefit of the doubt. This is a preseason, blah, blah, blah. Well, last year, Saints led the league in penalties the first couple of weeks of the season. I remember pulling up the stats and all that.
It was a huge thing early, bro.
A lot of pre-snap penalties, too. Holding, offsides, all that stuff. Not offsides. False starts, all that. So it was bad. So he doesn't get the benefit of benefit of the doubt. He knows that has to be right because it will cost them games. It will cost you games in the NFL if you don't get that right. I don't care how talented you are. You have to.
You can't beat yourself. You gotta have the Sean Payton thing, bro. You can't beat yourself.
Sean Payton thing was the details.
Yeah.
Got to be on the details. The rub routes, the this, the that, the way you line up, spacing, all those little minute things that you think just like, oh, yeah, I got it. No, we're going to run this again and again till it's like imprinted in your head and you only do it right from here on out. So they just got to figure that out, and hopefully it was a wake-up call for DA. He talked about it in the presser, how it pissed him off and this and that. All right, bro. I remember early in the training camp, first 2 weeks, they didn't have any reps come, like, to the training camp. And that just kind of come out like, damn, they didn't bring any reps. I thought first week, okay. I thought second week they'll bring the reps in.
Right.
To kind of do, but they didn't. They didn't start dealing with the reps until they did the joint practices. So to me, I was just like, knowing how they started off last year, why would you brought in the reps?
Why would you not?
those are the things. Those are the little things, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Like, and,
So,
it's funny because, like, to like a casual fan, it's such a like you like that doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it does, bro. Like,
it does matter.
Matters. It does. Last thing we'll hit on. I think it's the last thing. There was a lot that happened. There's a lot that's happened this weekend, bro. It's just hard for me to keep track of. Isaiah Foskey mentioned it earlier. He had. I'm trying to start with the positives first, Ryan.
I thought it was no positives, bro. They had enough positives.
Just saying, bro. He had a couple of snaps where he flashed a bit more so than he did against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bruh. He will not see the field much this season. He won't. I just know he won't. He's not going to. You can't put him out there.
I don't see the path. What's the path forward?
There is none. Like, again, someone brought this up. Someone in the live stream brought it up. But like, my counterpoint was like, he is going against like third stringers, and he is like you putting him against like starting left tackles and right tackles. Like, you think this is going to get better? Oh no! No.
Lunch, baby. That's lunch. They look at that. They look at that table like, okay, all day
barbecue chicken. What I said it on the Zoom. Him maybe taking longer to become like a valuable pass rusher, at least a rotational pass rusher. It's not the end of the world. No. But I think the thing that makes it worse is because he was obviously drafted because it was a need, right? There was uncertainty with Payton Turner. They had let 2 firsts go in free agency. And even though I think that was a blessing in disguise, they did want to bring him back on a contract if they could have worked that out. So at that point, your pass rushers were Payton Turner, who was coming off, a not great year. And, they did not talk about him glowingly in the offseason and kind of put him on notice that he needed to get better. You had Passing Out, you have Big Creep, and that was really it, right? So the Foskey pick definitely was, and I don't care who wants to say it's not the case. The reason why you draft Foskey over, say, Brian Branch, even though Brian Branch was probably higher on the draft board, was because Foskey fit a need, right? That point blank period. He was a need. It was a need. So it's not even about them passing on Brian Branch. That's a different conversation. It's just because pass rush was such a, especially edge rush, right? We had questions about the interior, but edge rush was like, man, besides Cam, like, who's going to get to the quarterback, right? You would think that I know in their mind, we're like, okay, he's a second-round pick. We draft him, even though he's maybe not become a starter, but he could be like a rotational guy and get 3-4 sacks in his rookie season.
Right.
But for that to be like maybe where the bar is, what they had in mind when they drafted him, to probably he's not going to be active maybe 1 or 2 games this season, that's where it kind of double hurts.
Really hurts, man. I think DA was talking about him in the post presser. I didn't catch who he was talking about, but it sounded like he was talking about Foskey, where he basically was saying like he expected him to make that play. So I think they was talking about him.
He had a lot of plays where he like someone said he was doing the Davenport, bro. Like, he was like just close to the sack and it just doesn't get it.
Right.
Having at least 3.5, maybe 4 times the game against the Chargers.
And I don't know how to take those, because you can look at those 2 ways. You look at those as he's close, so almost there. Or you look at those like, man, you just don't have that dog in you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
The concerning play for me in this game was like he was doing this rush and like the left tackle just put his right hand out. And you ever like when they do it like in a TV show, like was an adult and the kid,
Bart Simpson,
the kid's just like just running in place, bro. Like,
come on, man.
that's when I was like, oh shit, like this is not good.
And it tells you everything that DA had him in that motherfucker all game, bro.
All game, bro.
DA was like, he probably was trying to, can I take a water break?
Nah, nigga.
Oh, your black ass back out. And he just was out there, bro. And nothing came of it. That's what was so disappointing. I was waiting for him. There's not I don't know if it's an effort thing, because he was showing effort.
Hustling.
But it's like, oh man.
You got Lelos out there, Legolas trying to break the team, bro.
Lelo. I'm not going to put some respect on that. Nico Lelos. He was out there balling.
He basically sealed the victory for the because they was about to blow that shit. That shit was about to be blown, bro.
Like, bro, to me, next week, I'm putting Lelos out there, bro, early in the preseason game and say, let's see what you're going to do. Let's see what you're going to do, you know, next to Brian Breezy and Cam Jordan. Well, I doubt Cam Jordan play. But I'm just going to put you out there with, you know, some good linebackers behind you, good secondary. Let's see what you could do, bro.
Show me what you got, baby.
Show me what you got. You know, I don't care where you come from. They always preach, we don't care how you got here. You know, it's what you could do. I would like to see what he could do. Because Foskey just hasn't shown it yet. And that's not closing the book on him. Look, we just talked about Payton Turner a few minutes ago. You have time to prove yourself. Every draft pick isn't going to show up early and often. So he has time to prove himself. And luckily he was drafted high where he's going to be given a chance to prove himself. So, because if he was like a 6th-round pick or undrafted, he wouldn't be making the team.
He would not be making the team. Yes,
he would not be making the team. So, you know, we'll see, man. We'll see. I was gonna go hard on him, but I said, you know what? I'm just going. I ain't gonna go.
No, man, I'm not going. It's just what seeing the Saints this preseason, has shown me is that I guarantee when teams are cutting their roster down to 53, they are claiming or signing an edge rusher. I'm not saying it's going to be a starter. I'm not saying it's going to be someone, but you cannot go in the regular season with Payton Turner, Big Creep, and passing y'all. As like you got, I even said during the live stream, bro. Like, where JPP at right now?
Right now, we're looking for bodies, bro. Bodies that can come in there and give you something.
So I do believe that they will be trying to. It happens, man. It happens often every season before the regular season starts. Like a team will cut a veteran unexpectedly, or cut like a high draft pick, maybe from this draft class, or like last year's draft class, or like. But it happens. So whatever happens, just I do have a confidence that they will try to have someone come in, because I think if we're talking about this defense and how good it potentially can be, you got to have someone else opposite of Cam, or at least like a conveyor belt of guys where you're just throwing out there, like rotating them in, even if you're doing it that way.
I agree. Last thing I wanted to talk about, I guess a little bit, was Jameis.
Oh man,
it was so. What I found fascinating was jumping on the Zoom and everybody just like, oh, Jameis, and you just it's the Jameis experience, bro. It's the Jameis experience where he does some things where it's just like, what are you doing? Get the ball out. Get the ball out. Then Jake Hayner comes in and it's like, boom, boom, boom.
Night and day difference.
9-day difference, bro.
I'm sorry, Bruce Arians. Sorry, bro. You're right, bro.
He's right.
He's right, bro.
But then he'll make a couple throws where you'd be like, okay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I get it. I see it. I mean, I guess as erratic as he played and whatever, like he will be quarterback 2 this season. There's no doubt about that. And I guess the only solace, is like, let's say Derek Carr gets dinged up for a game. He has to miss a game. at least the team, on least hashtag on paper, offensively seems to be built enough where he could like kind of how Sean Payton did him, right? Kind of manage a game to a win without it like him having to be full fucking Jameis, right? Like, so we'll see, man. The cuts are gonna be interesting. I think we should probably do that 50-man 3 roster prediction pretty soon, because you got the Texans game on Sunday, and then I think cuts are is it the next day or is it Tuesday? Like
I don't know. It's coming quick. And then there's a week gap, and then the week after that, bruh, September 10th, Thursday night football, and we got football this Sunday.
Who's playing Thursday night football? It's Chiefs and who? I don't even know what the game is.
I don't even know the game.
But then you got Saints and
the Lions. I think Chiefs and Lions. How much?
Can we stop? Oh, it can't be the Lions. No, bro. No,
bro. Let me see. Hold up. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, bro. Fucking Lions. Dan Campbell, the one that got away.
Campbell, anyway. Should have been a police coach.
Sean couldn't retire a year earlier. Anyway, that was it. We tried to recap as much as we could from this game. Anyone who's listening to this in Southern California, I am in Southern California, just stay safe. It's finally like stopped raining. It started raining at 8:30 a.m. and pretty much have been raining all day. Stopped raining. Just stay safe. Being on the couch, I was just chilling. Me and Jay just chilling and watching Special Ops Lioness. Great fucking show, by the way. And I'm like, if you've never experienced a hurricane, and I know, got John Hendricks and Catherine Terrell, there's people who are here who I don't know if they've experienced a hurricane before, bro. Being from Louisiana and what have you, I was like, that's a hurricane. And it was like a tiny little, like the smallest one. Like first I felt like the really tiny one. And I guess my body's just really in tune. I was like, nah, the earth is moving. And
what do you mean an earthquake? That was an earthquake.
Earthquake. I said hurricane. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tells you where my mind is. It was an earthquake. And I was like, that's an earthquake. And it moved just a little bit, right? Then it moved a little more. An earthquake is fucking terrifying, right?
It's crazy, dog.
It's absolutely fucking terrifying.
Because I tell you, me and my coworkers was joking like, man, what if a earthquake and a hurricane hit LA at the same time? What is going on?
Joke's on us, bitch. It did.
What is going on, bro? Earth is done with us, bro. Earth
done, bro. Just trying to. Day after tomorrow, shit, bro. I'm about to see Jake Gyllenhaal walk my window, bro.
2012. I don't know what's going on, man.
I don't know. John Cusack in this bitch. I don't know, Ryan. I just take every day as it comes. Thankful for every fucking day I'm able to see. But it's wild out here right now, man. But my phone, like, it was like flood warning fucking earlier, and then boom, earthquake has happened. Get shelter. Like, bro, take me now, Lord. Just take me now, Jesus. But here we are. We keep doing our thing. We'll be back this week. Talk about the Texans. I gotta see the Texans game's on Sunday, I believe. I'll be hopefully back from Vegas by then. Like, we're supposed to go see Adele this upcoming weekend, bro. Yeah. So in Vegas. So we'll see. Shout out to whoever got my mentions earlier who doesn't follow me on Twitter. Was saying I have big feet. I don't know what it is about us, because at the end of the day, bro, we're just Saints fans who have a podcast and talk about the team. But like, we seem to just rub people for whatever reason the wrong way, especially me, because I don't fucking care. Like, I don't block. Thank you, next. Moving on to the next person. So I don't know what it is. I don't try to act like I'm holier than thou. I know I'm not. That I know that at the end of the day, these are just takes on the internet about a football team.
That's it.
That's it, bro. That's it. But I especially rub people the wrong way and It's okay, bro. Like I love it. Like I'm the Draymond of our podcast, bro.
Because you got an opinion, bro. You got an opinion, man.
I do, and I'm strong with it, but that's a different conversation for another day. But thank y'all for the support. I was very shocked of how many people were in the live stream.
Me too.
Like in the Zoom, there was like at least at one point 20, 21 people in there. Seeing our boy Bayou and Dash like hanging out in Florida, it's just like
to the mind, bro.
Just like because, and I don't want to take too much credit, but it's like, man, if we didn't have this podcast, we haven't built this community. Like they probably would have never met each other, bro. Like,
right.
I don't know, man. It's just it's special, man. It's special. So very thankful for all our listeners. As the regular season is getting closer, our numbers and listens and things like that are going up. So thank y'all. Time to become Patreons now. We're raffling off the ticket to the Texans home game. We'll have instructions of what exactly needs to be done for you to be in the raffle. But we're going to raffle those off before the game on Sunday. And it's just football's around the corner, Saints. But more than anything, just be safe out there. It's a crazy fucking world. A lot of shit happening. Just be safe. Enjoy it. Enjoy life. Spend time with your loved ones and your friends, and just make memories. That's all it is about. But we'll be back. We'll be back probably Wednesday, Thursday, going over the Texans game, and then we'll have the live stream and everything as always for the preseason game against the Texans. We're going to raffle off that ticket for the preseason game against the Texans, and after that, it's the regular season, man. We're raffling off the home opener against the Titans. Ooh-wee. and the unfurling of the flag, bro. I'm ready to see Treylon Burks like push off of Marshawn and this obvious pass interference, and it doesn't get called, bro. It's like, you already know. Saints football, bro. Like nothing else. But we here and we're fans. So thank y'all for the support. We love y'all. We'll be back upcoming this week. With that, we're out.
Peace.